Is everything they're saying about him true? Is Luka Doncic a defensive liability? Does he hold the team back in pace, in offensive pace and defensive pace? Is he a bad defender? Well, let's start by saying that there should be no doubt in anyone's mind that he is a top 5 player this season. Let's start with some basic box score stats. Luka Doncic is averaging 29 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists on 46% from the field and 35% from 3. While there is no question that these stats don't compare to his last season, where he was averaging a 34-point triple-double and won the scoring title, these are still some really good stats. He is not the lowest point-per-game scorer out of the top 5 in the MVP. He doesn't have the least assists. He's second in assists out of those top 5. Well, then what happened? Is he having a regression? What happened to these insane stats? Wasn't he number 1 in points plus rebounds plus assists? You know, something that hadn't been done since Wilt Chamberlain. Oh, no, there is no regression. And if he isn't regressing, then what happened? Well, there's a simple explanation. Luka did not play in the preseason at all, not a single game. He was coming off of heavy injuries from the playoffs, and of course he decided to play for Slovenia, which probably slowed down the healing process. But by the time the first game of the season came by, he had not practiced, he had not gotten off any rust at all. Whoa, stop giving Luka all these excuses, man. 3 excuses back to back, no way. Well, they're not really excuses, they're logical explanations, and it shows because in his last 7 games, Luka Doncic is averaging 30 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists on 3.3 steals per game and 66% true shooting. I guess it's safe to say that he's not regressing, and this is without some people knowing that Jason Kidd explicitly stated, "We are trying to get this man to play more off ball and change the style of play." So he is doing something that he has never done in his life, and then yet he is still continuing to be efficient and put up great numbers. Well, how do you know this is actually in effect? Like, every time I watch the Mavs, the ball is just, he's just pounding the air out of the ball. Like, what? Well, according to Basketball Index, his ball dominance percentage has gone down dramatically since last season, from 45.01% to 36.31%. This is actually his lowest of his career, lower than his rookie season. And how does that compare to other MVP candidates? Is that impressive at all that he's putting up these numbers? Is that a high number? Well, it is lower than Shai's ball dominance percentage this season, and it is definitely not lower than, for example, someone like Jason Tatum. He has a 27.87% ball dominance percentage. His numbers for the amount of time that he has the ball are extremely impressive. Super impressive. I think he's actually underrated this season, and he is not being talked about enough, but this is not a Jason Tatum video. So his usage rate, also known as the estimate percentage of team plays used by a player while he was on the floor, it's lower. It's lower than Shai's, it's lower than Giannis, but you're not going to see that anywhere on your timeline. If Luka's was higher, you would see it all over the media, all over ESPN. Can he please lower his usage rate? These stats are inflated. It's just because he has the ball so much. But when Shai does it, when Giannis does it, you don't see anything about it. I'm actually surprised Jokic has a lower usage rate, but it's the way it is. What? How could this be? How could his numbers be so good and his usage rate is down? I'm in denial. What else can I find to discredit Luka? Well, maybe his average seconds per touch are really high. No, he's not even top 20 in that category. No, then I know. His time of possession. Nope. But I know where I'm gonna get you. His dribbles per possession. He's not even on the list. He's not even top 20. He's not top 30. He's not pounding the air out of the ball. He's not on the list. Matter of fact, you know who is in all of these lists? Mr. Shai. Brunson is also on all of these lists. Very high up. But you're not going to see it because Brunson is the star. He's the star of New York. It's fine when he does it. It's fine when Shai does it. It's just a problem when Luka does it. I'm not trying to discredit any of these guys. For all I care, all 3 of them could dribble 25 times per game. But why is it an issue when Luka does it? They're just doing it to discredit his numbers and his production on the court. And now he is proving that he can have insane production, really good numbers, and barely have the ball. What? He's just the worst defender in the NBA. He's the worst defender. He doesn't deserve an MVP. He's the worst defender. I mean, he made the finals, but it was all a fluke. Let's see some really basic defensive stats that they would go at him for if they were to be higher than other MVP candidates. Let's see. Defensive rating, 108.5. lower than Tatum's, lower than Giannis, lower than Jokic. And for the record, the lower the defensive rating is, the better. Obviously, this doesn't tell the full story. We know Luka's not a better defender than someone like Giannis, or maybe even Shea. Shea has a 103.5 defensive rating. Is he just the best defender in the world? Well, no. He has people like Caruso on his team, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, all defensive caliber players. Someone like Anthony Davis has a 110 defensive rating this season. But we all know none of these players are better, at least personally. They are not better at defense than Anthony Davis. So clearly this is very skewed, and the number doesn't tell the whole story. It does tend to shift depending on the team you have. For example, the Lakers are not a good team this season at all. So Anthony Davis defensive rating numbers tend to go up. Well, how can we find the middle ground? How can we look at this number and say, okay, well, the number's not terrible. He's not getting destroyed by opposing players. Well, the Boston Celtics rank number 8 in defense this season. The Mavericks rank number 10. Tatum has a 108.6 defensive rating and Luka has a 108.5. Relative to that, if the Boston Celtics defense were to be so much better than the Dallas Mavericks, and Tatum is part of that, then Tatum's defensive rating must be lower. But even though the Mavericks have a worse defensive rating, Luka Doncic's defensive rating is still lower than Tatum's. I'm not saying he's a better defender, I am saying he is managing himself well. Okay, man, then what about his pace? He's slowing the team down. He's so fat. He's a slug. Tubbs. Luka Doncic. In the NBA, pace refers to the number of possessions a team uses during a game. Well, for a team that its superstar is a Tubbs fat man that plays 35 minutes a night and dribbles the ball out of the air every possession, the Dallas Mavericks rank 7th in pace in the entire NBA. Now, I won't hide the numbers. The pace is slower offensively when Luka is on the court compared to when he is off. Although not the slowest, PJ Washington does make the offense the slowest. And in terms of defensive pace, the team seems to have the best and fastest defensive pace when Luka is on the court compared to when he is off the court, for a differential of 0.97. So while in offense, the pace is much slower, on defense, the pace is much faster when Luka Doncic is on the court compared to when he is off. They are forcing lots of turnovers. Well, what data is there to back this up? Well, Luka Doncic ranks 7th in deflections per game, behind guys like OG Anunoby, De'Aaron Fox, Nikola Jokic, and Dyson Daniels, obviously. And are these deflections leading to anything? Like, what does Luka deflecting a ball even do? It leads to points off of turnovers. And Luka just so happens to rank number 1 in the entire NBA, above guys like Giannis, Shea, Jalen Williams, and Norman Powell. So he's deflecting balls at a really high pace as a slow fat man. He's creating the most points off of turnovers in the entire NBA. But what else is he doing? Come on, man, show me something else. Well, I'll show you. He ranks number 2 in the entire NBA in steals per game at 2.1 steals per game. Below Dyson Daniels, of course. He has 3 per game. He's just an anomaly. He's insane. And in the last 7 games, Luka Doncic has a total of 20 steals. This isn't just a cherry-picked number of games. He also leads in the last 7 games. Man, you see, I just can't trust you. Deflections, steals, high-paced defensive. My eyes don't see it. He's just so fat, bro. He's so fat. Well, in the NBA, the players that allow the fewest points per possession given up when guarding ISOs in the 2024-2025 NBA regular season are PJ at number 1, Dyson Daniels at number 2, Pascal Siakam at number 3, and Luka Doncic at number 4. He's only allowing 0.65 points per possession in isolations. So if he was a traffic cone, players would just simply walk by him and lay the ball up. But that is not what is happening. He is not allowing players to score in isolations. Now, obviously, we know that he is not the elite of the elite. These are insane stats to be part of. These are all stats that Dyson Daniels is appearing on. And Dyson Daniels is, in my opinion, right now, one of the best defenders in the entire NBA, alongside Victor Wembanyama. Now, I'm not saying Luka Doncic is the best of the best in the world. I am saying He is holding his own, and compared to all the other MVP candidates, he is up there. He is up there. Whether you want to admit it or not, all of this data isn't just coincidence, and it isn't just luck. This video is not made to tell you, oh my god, he's the MVP, he should be number one. This video is to show you that everything you see on Twitter, on Instagram, or any media about him, all these lies are not true. He doesn't make the team slower. He's not the worst offender in the NBA, and he's not one of the worst offenders in the NBA, especially when he actually does try. The problem is when he doesn't try. That is an issue. So if you're a Mavs fan or a Luka fan, and you find yourself, having to defend Luka Doncic, and then you have this video right here. I think he should definitely be in the top 4 of the MVP ladder. I think he's been phenomenal. The team has been winning, which was a major argument against them last season. They've won 12 of the last 14, which is insane. He's been the leader. He's been doing everything. Kyrie has been amazing. Everybody has been amazing. Nobody has been held back by Luka. Like, everybody's shooting amazing. So, I think there's definitely a case there. So don't believe any of the lies you see on Twitter, and much less if you don't watch Dallas Mavericks games. Like, there is no reason for you to say he's this, he's that, if you don't even watch the games. I hope you enjoyed the video. I've never done a video like this. This was really weird. It took 6 hours of editing, and I saw a lot of weird stats. Like, for example, Karl Anthony Towns leads the league in kickballs per game. Like, that's just so random. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you liked it, leave a like and share it.